on Wednesdays. I love them.
So we got what we got, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
Oh, yeah, we need John. He's
On Wednesdays. I love them.
You don't have enough for a quorum? Four? No, we do. Only four of us.
He's coming, but you could start if you like.
All right. We're going to start the March meeting of the Tioga County IDA. Please do a roll call.
Yes. Kevin Gillette,
Here.
Martha Sabra. Here. John Ward, Eric Knowles,
Here.
Aaron Gowan.
Here.
And for guests today, we have Matt Freeze, and we have privilege of the floor, James Gensel, here to talk to us about an Owego Gardens 2 update. Jamie, it's all you.
Good evening. Jamie Gensel, Fagan Engineers. We are getting finally caught up on the additional requirements going back and forth between Suez and the contractors and such to determine what we need to do to get this project finalized. The two items that were outstanding on, I guess, on our end, not on Suez's end, but that would be performed by our contractor would be the pump station and the electric service to the water main or water tank itself. So we have two items, two change orders to discuss, excuse me. The first off would be, and should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me just pull this up real quick.
Hey, Joe.
Okay.
I see that.
All right. I want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. There you go. Okay, so just to go back, take a little step back, we on the electric side, we were given ballpark numbers from Suez on how much it would cost to get it done, and that was going to be absorbed under what they call the developers agreement. We weren't too happy with the numbers, so what we did is we started really getting into locking down the individual pricing for the different elements and work directly with our contractor instead of working with through Suez. So what you see in front of you is just a lot of information, but I just wanted to let you see what we did. The IDA sent exact information over to the contractor to work on our numbers. Some of the items also included elements that were requested of us, but were not required by the health department. And to be honest, because of the budget concerns, those items were not elected to be done. So what you have in front of you is the change order from the electric, but then there's a separate one. Oh, I didn't bring that up either. Shoot. I apologize, I don't have that one in front of me. So the first change order is actually for the pump station work. And what that was is realistically to do some improvements on inside the pump station itself and to wire up the pumps that we've purchased under the Robinson contract. And so that price came out to be $10,465. So that would be the change order number one. And what that included was work done by Patterson Electric, and then some additional work inside the building that has to be done, included fixing some pipe stands and such so that the pumps can actually be supported. When we got the actual pumps that they requested, it turns out they were slightly bigger than what the existing pipe stands or actually pump stands were. So we needed a little bit more cost to that. So that's change order number one, is for, after running it through Robinson's contract, it would be $10,465. That includes, removing some conduit, putting new conduit in, rewiring it, but doing less than what was being requested. So some of the things that Sue has requested were like redo the whole panel and such. And those added lots of expense that really was not necessary. So we really value engineered what they were requesting to get to that price. Change order number two is the more significant one. That's the one that running electric to the water tank site. The original estimate for that work under our original design intent was to run overhead electric through the existing easement area that goes up through there. There's a little bit of a farm path up through there. The problem we had was,
Okay, Jamie, you
sorry,
cut out, our internet was unstable. You cut out right after you said
Value
you value
engineer.
engineered to get to the 10-4.
okay, was that change order one or change order two?
Change order one.
Okay, so change order one, we valued engineered a lot of the items that was being requested from Suez. There was significant items such as replacing a whole electric panel that were just not necessary. So Fagan met with their electrician and our contractor Robinson on site, and we were able to vastly narrow down the work that was necessary to complete the project. There's wants and needs that everyone has. We have different people involved, people that have different wants. We scaled it back to what was needed to get this project done. So that's when we came up with a final scope with the electrician. The electrician's going to work under Robinson, and that will be valued engineered to be $10,465 for change order one. Okay. Change order number two is the more significant one. That's the one where we needed to run electric to the tank site. Now, the initial design intent was an overhead electric line strung from poles up to the tank through an existing easement area. That was, discussions with NYSEG and Suez back and forth on what they would allow. Restricted us to going back to doing underground electric, which increased our costs. So multiple iterations of how to do this. We went through a number of ways to do it. The final decision was to actually run from the transformer that's in front of the new building, the new apartment building, across the parking lot for the apartment building, and then up the hill through a new swath that we needed to clear. This will all be underground. Now, once again, we had some wants versus needs. There was a request. So if you can see my screen, there was a request for some additional works like spare conduit as we did this work. Obviously that's stuff that we took out of this change order. We are not going to perform that. We will give the option for Suez to pay for that if they want to pay for it separately to the contractor. We have no issue with that. I can understand why they would want it, but from our point of view, that is not a necessary item. So going up the hill, this is also going to convey the communications lines from the apartment building up to the tank site. That allows for the security cameras that we'll talk about separately. It includes our new meter kiosk, our new panels, our some other items that were necessary is a new concrete pad for the propane tank for the generator. And some miscellaneous conduit connecting up things. This price came in, with the extras was 138 through 345. When we subtract that out, the electric number is 125 321. So that's change order number 2. Those are the remaining change orders for the Robinson contract. Now, Robinson is performing some of this work, but a lot of this work is the electrician that is the preferred electrician from Suez. We reviewed their costs. They were in line with what you would anticipate. There's no issue with using their electrician. But it is going through our existing contract and using our existing wage rates and such. So that does add a little bit to the cost. Are there any questions on change order number 2?
I do have a question on the completion. All right, you're putting conduit in the ground, you're running wire 1,000 feet or so, by the looks of that.
Yep.
And you're not putting the spare conduit in the ground, which, makes perfect sense, as long as the county doesn't have to deal with the distance between the transformer and the tank in the future. Whose is that? What happened?
So that's a great question. So after we construct all these improvements, the IDA will dedicate that over to Suez. It will no longer be any of our maintenance, or I should say it would not be the IDA's maintenance or IDA's ownership. So once that's transferred over there, if there's an issue with the wire, our friends at Suez will have to rerun their wire. Now the conduit, it's 2-inch conduit going up the hill. They have room if they needed to try to slide another line through that, or they would just be, run new line through the old conduit, or if they want the spare conduit, they can pay for it.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the spare conduit. I'm just worried about the maintenance after the fact, because the transformer's on the site of the housing project, right?
Correct.
They're running, well, what's the pedestal that it's going to be on the IDA property though, Jamie?
So that's going to be across the parking lot, just into the IDA property, but that's still within the easement area. So kind of a separate issue if we want to talk about it now, but there'll be easements required to be filed for this line from the transformer up to the tank. So part of that land is home leasing land. So we need an easement on the home leasing piece. And then there's part of it that will be retained by the IDA, but that will be an easement for Suez to operate and maintain the utility.
So Joe, we've got an email while you were driving here from Jamie about what we need to do to get those easements
Oh,
taken
okay.
care of. So
Yep.
Jamie was gonna reach out to you directly about it.
All right, good.
So Kevin's question, just for a simple country boy, if we don't run this second one, right, it's not going to be our problem. It's going to be Suez's problem. We're not going to have to go in there and dig this whole thing back up and make sure that the power runs.
Correct. At the end of the day, once we get final completion on this project, the IDA has nothing to do with any of this.
Write that down, Joe.
That's what I'm doing.
So we're talking an increase of $148,000
For this part,
for just this part.
for this part.
There's another chunk too.
There's another piece that we have to talk about. This is just, remember, we said from the start, there were pieces that were not included in the original
Right,
scope.
right.
Miscellaneous electric.
And
SCADA,
what did we
security
figure?
generator.
What did we figure in the beginning for the miscellaneous?
What did you have?
70 some?
Jamie, yeah, I think 50
70.
to 70 somewhere in there. Jamie, do you remember what you had? And I, put in a place marker for the miscellaneous electric one back. in the beginning.
I believe
Remember?
it's, I could check real quick.
Seems to me it was 72 or $75,000.
I want to say it was 75. And that was, and to be honest, that was me using overhead electric. Putting this underground is not helping us at all. And that was something that when we were dealing with NICEAG says, we don't do this anymore, running it, because originally we were anticipating NICEAG to run the electric to the transformer on site, if you don't recall that. Well, a pole mounted transformer on the tank site. And then they said, no, Suez is going to have to own the line. Well, then Suez is like, well, we don't own overhead lines, we own underground lines. That's when we got stuck with doing an underground connection. Which, digging up a hill is not cheap. I mean, to be honest, looking at the pricing that we were given, and that's the nice thing, we broke it all out for Robinson. So if you see all these different bid items you see here, we broke it all out. So there wouldn't be any ambiguity on what's happening and who's doing what, which was a little bit of a task, but it was worth it. But because one person, the assumptions between the Suez electrician versus Robinson were totally opposite in some spots that would have caused us heartaches. But this, when I go through it and actually reviewed the unit costs, Robinson has been more than fair on the costs. I want to state that. And actually, the electrician has been very fair on the costs. So even though these numbers are higher than what we were hoping with the overhead line, I think they could have been much worse with where we were at with the contractor. We would have potentially had a bid out new for a new contract, and that would have lost us time, but also probably would not have saved us anything.
So this is adding somewhere around 70 some thousand dollars to our original.
Correct. The other items that are outstanding that I have placeholders for, and they are just placeholders, are the security cameras. I don't know how detailed we want to get into that discussion, but we were quoted a much higher number with a specification that required a certain certified contractors. We found 2 other certified contractors in New York State that provide that service, and we were able to get an estimate from them that was about half the price. So we're holding that as our number, our placeholder number. And then the only other thing that I think is outstanding is the SCADA tech. We had an initial estimate based on their preferred vendor through our water tank contractor. And that number is about half of what we're being quoted as part of the developer agreement, but we're still waiting for their backup on what they're requesting.
So just to remind everybody, as Jamie mentioned, 2 change orders right now, work to be completed under the Robinson contract. The rest of it, SCADA, generator, and security, we're including in the developers agreement. So we'll have a revised developers agreement coming that will include those 3 items. So we have a general idea what that'll be. The SCADA, $12,375, generator, $7,700, and security, $17,611. So those will be incorporated into the modified, revised developer agreement with Suez.
How much is the total? What's it add up to? You just Tell me the numbers.
12,375, 7,700, 17,611.
$22,000.
22, it's 22,000.
Right?
My math was off.
26.
12,375.
12,375.
7,700.
Okay.
17,611.
Oh,
37,686.
that was
How much?
closer.
37,700.
12,700.
$12,375. 7,700.
Two.
17,000.
Oh, 17,000. I thought you said 1,700.
No, 17,611.
Thought that's what you heard, Aaron. I knew you were gonna get highs when you got the extra zero.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Makes
this.
a difference.
I was starting to wonder about the IPA.
Oh, yeah, it killed a few brain cells. There's no question about it.
That's where I went immediately.
So in the end, you know, we've been waiting and waiting, looking for this number. How much more are we talking about? In the end, between the two, $163,007. What we're talking about. The number that we didn't know.
But of that 70-some thousand we had on the sheet.
And one other thing I do want to bring up, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. The developers agreement was, if we did not go through this process and it was painful, we were being quoted somewhere, it was either $240,000 or $270,000 if we didn't do this ourselves.
So it's
So-
been arduous, it has been arduous, but well worth it. Now, and just to, on the security system, basically what I said to them was, and I think I copied you, Joe, on it. You know, their number was 37,000 for the security system. And Jamie did the work and found exactly to their spec by a certified installer, and it's 17,000. So basically I came back to them and said, we're not paying 37,000. We're using public funds here. We have a procurement policy. We can't knowingly spend public money more than 20,000 when we know we can do it for less. That's what it is. Either we'll do it at the 17.6, or we'll credit you the 17.6 in the developer agreement. You do whatever you want to do. So we're meeting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to discuss pretty much the ultimatum I gave them. So I don't know where that's going to go. I might need to pull you in on it. But that's where we're at right now, just with the security system. Okay. Is there anything else, Jamie, that you wanted to cover specifically?
That's everything. The big thing now is we gotta get the work done. You know, the springs here, we have very little wiggle room here.
Construction and the townhouses moving right along. They're painting and the upper townhouses, they're putting flooring down and painting and getting them ready to go. And they're moving on down to the lower townhouses. In the meantime, they're continuing with the framing. The roofing is almost done on the apartment complex, and all the windows are in. It's airtight. Finish the roofing, and they'll start going on that part too. So they are on schedule for their part of the project. So now it's on us. We've got to get on the site.
So what's Robinson saying as far as being able to do their part?
It-
What do you got a grin on your face?
They are, they're waiting on us to give them final go ahead to move forward, but also from, you know, something that's been pulling teeth, a decision on the operation of the testing, the chlorination and the testing system. I think we finally got that nailed down. That has to be reviewed by the Department of Health, and hopefully in a quick and timely manner so that they can get out there ASAP.
So that's a whole, there was a schedule associated with that, with chlorinating, pressurizing, all that with the tank. There's all these schedules that have to mesh. But getting closer, I think.
Okay,
So at this time, we would look for a motion to approve. I don't know if we should do them separately or can we do them at the same time?
You
Change
can
order
do it
one.
all.
Motion to approve change order 1 and change order 2 to contract fee with Robinson for the pump station and miscellaneous electric.
So moved, Eric.
second.
Any further discussion?
You're running the meeting, Kevin, go.
Well,
All in
Do
favor?
we- do
All
we
in
need to
favor?
ro- Yeah, do we need to roll call vote these? Or I'm not sure. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dan?
There's the-
Yeah, thanks for prompting me.
I think you can
What do
go
you
now.
need it for?
I know you've got something you guys
Didn't want her to
Thanks
do it.
very much.
You were all taken over.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen and ladies.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Get it done, Jamie. Get it done.
I'm trying. Thank you. Am I supposed to be on that 9 AM call?
You could be. You
Oh,
want.
I don't know if I want to.
Okay, okay. No,
Um,
it's not gonna be pretty.
Because I did not see a meeting request. That's why I was just,
It's Ray and their corporate people and me.
okay. Well, if you need me, buzz me. I'll
Yeah.
jump on. Thank you. Have a good night.
See
See
ya.
ya.
What is that, like their sole provider for that service?
Yeah, they do it and they wouldn't give me a breakdown of, okay, what's the equipment, what's the labor, what's the, for what you're doing. So we would make sure we're comparing it. So we get it.
Imagine
Yeah, I asked, who was the idiot that sold the water rights to the village? Well, I hope I'm on the record here somewhere with that, because I'm trying real hard.
You're live.
that. John Schaefer is long since.
All right, so we're moving on to approval of the February minutes.
Second.
Financials,
All in favor?
Aye.
this is easy.
Opposed? So carried.
We're all helpful.
It's great, I appreciate it. Leanne, I guess you're up. Updates.
Financials, acknowledge the financials.
Aaron just did
Accepted
them.
the report.
Good.
John seconded, we're all good.
Got it? And just real quick, because I'm gonna talk about the Lonsberry Industrial Pocket in executive. So I just, as an update, just want to let you know that Hooker Foundation will be making the deposit of the grant funds for the education workforce coordinator position directly to the county.
Leanne, I'm struggling hearing you a little bit.
So, I'm looking at him, talking to him here. Just wanted to let you know that Hooker Foundation has agreed to make the deposit of the grant funds for the education workforce coordinator position directly to the county.
And I will say that I've seen Sean at like 4 different meetings in 4 different types of venues in the last 2 weeks. So the kid's getting out there. It is Sean, isn't it?
It is.
Got a
Yep.
brother, Ryan. I keep mixing them up.
Nope, Sean.
Speaking of that, Sean, the store, the Wingo Athletic School is bringing over their tiny house that the kids made in shop class and setting it on our parking lot for a week. But on May 26th, we have a whole bunch of vendors coming and inviting the kids from the school. They're going to talk about their project. And we're thinking about inviting some of the other shops from other schools, Eric.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
And having them come in on a bus and see what the kids did. I know Owego Appalachian School is trying to buy a house also and then remodel it. Which we've got vendors that are planning on helping with that, so. It might be a little bit busy day.
If
So
you
I
can
will-
get me the time that they're gonna be there, I'll get it out to the superintendents. Either through Leanne or whatever, or you can just, email me direct or whatever, but, I think that would be great. We had a job fair here at Waverly yesterday. We had 12 local schools that were there, 55 vendors. So people are starting to get moving in that direction a little bit.
So Eric, we can handle that through I think this would be ideal for Sean to coordinate this, getting the word out to the schools.
Agreed.
Okay, all right. So
And I'll follow it up with an email.
Perfect.
All right, Leanne, you said on the,
And
we got an update on the Weaver Gardens 2 in Lounsbury or?
Lounsbury Power Study is still in progress. No further updates since the last draft report was presented. Moving forward to leases, we've had a 10-year lease with Park Outdoor Advertising that is expiring after this year. So they're asking for a 20-year lease. I ran this by Aaron a little bit. He recommended that we stick to 10 years or less. 20 years is a long time.
I think that would be hard to justify.
Especially in this climate right now.
Mhm.
So there are two leases. Right now, they're paying $1,400 and $1,600 a year, and they're offering $1,700 and $1,900 for the next 10 years.
But it's 5 year and 5 year. I didn't read it that close when you said it.
So they actually asked us for a 20-year lease.
Two
Total.
10-year shots.
For the first 10 years, they're offering $1,700 and $1,900 annually each year, which is $3,000 more than we've received for the last 6 years on each.
There was some discussion of putting in a percentage increase, so I ran some numbers on it. It's really small. I get 2% over the 10 years, it's $300. They may as well, if you want more, I think it'd be much simpler to ask for more. Ask for 1,800 and you could come down to 1,750 and still be ahead of the 2% without going through the calculation.
So should we be asking for 5 years at the first figure and then 5 years at the second figure?
I defer to you all.
What was the second 10 years you're asking? It was 17 and 19, and what it changed to?
And then 2,000 and 2,200.
It makes more sense just to do them renewable at 5 years. I think if nothing else, it creates a little bit of competition in their minds that someone else might come to the table with.
That's the spot. You're coming into town that we always, and Tioga State Bank and Joe, it's cost us $700 to $800 a month.
Yeah. Park Outdoors got stranglehold on the market.
But that's the best spot of all of their signs coming into Owego. Or you going out.
Yeah, I'm okay with 5 years.
When's their term?
This is all new to me. I have no idea what these numbers should be, but I mean, if they're coming up with after 10 years of, $300 additional on either one, right?
Did Tioga State Bank's rate go up?
I could find out, but I have no
It
idea.
usually goes up every year. a
I'm
little
sure.
bit.
The only thing I'd say is like anything more than a 5-year contract or lease or anything right now is crazy the way things look. You know what I mean? It's just, you just don't know what you're
I know.
getting into.
Again, based on their stranglehold on the market, they're not gonna be bashful to ask, but what's their, when's their term up now? The current
The
one?
end of this year.
And 22.
Oh, okay, so this isn't, so you can counter just about anything, and play the game, I guess. but plenty of
It's a
time,
great spot. So
plenty of
I
time.
support 5 and 5.
And use those figures that they sent.
Okay, so 5 years at
Just cut the
19
terms
and
down.
17.
Renewable at 5, use those terms and just go at it.
They'll come back, but we got that.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have a proposal from Avery Demolition to tear down the barns at the Buck Road property for free and give us 30% of the wood salvage value.
Can I just say, if you're going to put this out to bid, should we be discussing what's already been proposed by?
Thank you.
Sure.
Good call. Moving on.
Just do it myself.
Thank you. The audit is in progress. It's fully complete except for I'm waiting for a few pilot companies to submit their employee reports and turn them over so they can complete the report. But they are done gathering information. For the governance committee, I would like Megan to share with you the property database that is ready to go live. Bring this over to her. All right, you come over here. So Megan did all the work on the property database and Brian Goodrich from the GIS put together the website.
Megan, would you like that chair right there?
Oh, that's a good idea. And it's been shared with the legislature and the team at this point and ready to go live. Eric, can you see this? You're on mute.
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at the, 200 West Avenue.
Okay.
So there's this website, we're gonna put, or this application, we're gonna put on our website, IDA website. And it has currently all the known to us for sale and for lease buildings and properties in the county. So let's see, go down, if I scroll on this thing.
Mouse.
I think you have to click that little.
I can't just, okay. I see. So go, the top is the buildings, and here's, well, maybe it goes, I thought it was separated by buildings
Maybe you're
and
gonna have to
land,
do
but
that microphone a little harder so Eric can hear you.
sorry.
I got it. She's good.
You just have to speak up.
So if you click on, when you,
That's good. Turn you.
oh,
Sorry.
so on the right, you can see all of the sites. And if you click on a site, it'll bring you right to it on the map. So you can see this is the San Mina building here, and this is the Victory building right next to it. So it's color coded. Purple is for sale, blue is for lease or sale, and then I think it's a green color is for lease. So if you click on the,
It's a former IBM building.
It's on the hill there a little bit. It's just-
Down in sort of.
Yeah,
And,
it's down
used to
in.
be a furniture store up there, but IBM took it over. I don't know if they.
So you can
leased it or
click
owned it
on-
or- But they,
yeah, it used to be a Lockheed building too there. But yeah, so if you click on it, you can see it links you to a report. It's just a PDF that has some information on the building,
So,
acreage, zoning. It's in the floodplain, if it has utilities, et cetera. Go back. Oops. Let me get to that tab.
it's hard without,
I know.
without a mouse.
I want to get back to that tab, but maybe I can just click back. No.
Be fast.
Oh, God. Okay. Can we just bring it back up, like from your email? So yeah, it has the IDA properties on here as well. We can scroll down to those.
These are, we can add them, anybody can add them, but we will govern who can put stuff on it.
Right,
Or
yeah, so
have to give it the okay or whatever, right?
yeah, so if we come across a new property, new building for sale or something, or if the IDA acquires more property, we can in-house put it right on this website.
So how are we gonna stay up with it? Like, how are we gonna stay current with this?
So we can update it right from our office. So, we're in touch with different real estate agents that send us buildings that are for sale. If we learn of anything, we can just throw it right up there.
So there's no system where, like, when something comes on board, the real estate agent contacts you, sends you an email with the profile of the property.
So right now, Eric, what we have, Megan manages our database right now. She keeps the list of everything. This is just taking that list of information and putting it in a format that's available for the public to see and, user friendly. So we've been maintaining a database now for 7 years on available properties. So we'll just continue to do that and just keeping this in mind and updating this as well.
Yeah, this is just so the public can see it too, what we have available, more public facing document.
That's amazing. This is great. I didn't know this existed.
It didn't, but it does.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea, other counties have similar type, sites available. They have to contract with somebody to create it and to maintain it. We were able to do this all in-house. Brian Goodrich with our GIS is amazing. He really does a fabulous job, in partnership with Megan and Christine to pull this all together. We were able to do it all in-house. I couldn't be more proud of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, Brian's a rock star. He did a great job with this. We were able to, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah. We played around with how we wanted it to look and how, best visually it was, just something quick and simple that if, we have a developer looking in Tioga County, like, okay, what's out there? They can go and they can click on this and get some quick information on it, And it also on the, is it coming up? Here it comes. On the report, it has, our information, all of them say like contact us for more information. So, they're coming to us and we can kind of facilitate.
Great.
Thank you so much for showing.
Yeah.
And for all the work you did.
It's great.
When I was at the New York State Economic Development Conference yesterday and Monday, they had a site selection panel present as one of the educational forums. And the woman said having something like this is key to them locating. Finding you, so that was just awesome to know that we had it in progress and ready to go. Okay, onward. So sales tax reports continue to be submitted. All are within their authorized amount. We have a county, all the county pilot disbursements are out. And we still have a pending Richford Railroad application. There was something else I wanted to not forget. Sales tax exemptions for the DRI projects associated with the IDA. So if you recall, IDA is technically the grant recipient for the 16 small business projects related to the DRI. Each of these projects has a sub-agreement with the IDA to then receive the funds that come from HCR to us and from us to the project owner. Two of these projects have requested through Brittany, who's administering the HCR projects, whether they could receive a sales tax exemption through the IDA. I talked with Joe about it, whether we could legally do such a thing, and we can give up to $100,000 in sales tax exemption to each project without going through a public hearing process. We already have the authority to just do that. The Broome County Agency has,
Do I get the vote on this?
I thought I added this here. Where, yeah, project updates. No, I don't know where it went. The Broome County Agency has a application. You pay $250, you apply, you give them various information, and they issue you sales tax exemption for up to $100,000 on each project. Some of these projects are anticipating only $2,500 savings. So I'm here to present the idea and hoping that we have a determination today so these projects can keep moving, whether we would like to offer these project owners that program or not.
I
And
have
just,
to abstain. I can't vote on this.
that's true.
What's the equity contribution for most of these? Is it 50%?
Match.
Or is
I'm
it-
not certain. Do you have it? I don't know if it's 20. I think it's less than 50.
I don't know.
I think
I
it
know
may be
some are 50
20.
and some are less as money's been kind of moved.
Around.
Yeah.
There might be a minimum, yeah, but I don't think there was. I can't remember anything like that. Percent or, I
For the
thought there was
DRI.
a contribution. Yeah, I thought you made out your application, you had to state what cash you brought to the table.
Right, and they-
Or what available cash or borrowing was available, but I don't remember a solid number, like a 50% or even a 40%. I don't remember that in that process.
No, they were awarded a certain amount of money.
Based on what you
They have.
what you think your
Well,
bid
you
is,
asked-
what
you
you're,
asked
what it's gonna
us.
cost.
I-
You know, you asked.
There
The
is,
The cost of it.
there must be a set percentage because the seller requested a facade loan for their match and they needed it to be 40,000, not our typical 20,000 limit. And we did make that exception for that loan. So there must be an amount that they have to, like a 50?
But that was based on what you thought it was gonna cost you.
Original numbers, right? which is
Original
gonna be
numbers. Now
more
it's
now.
$200,000 more for the same damn project.
Right. Which is an issue, and I guess, you know, if thought process was, if you want to be sympathetic to the cost increases, that's one way to potentially do it, but.
But then you've got the county sitting over here saying.
Well, and that's
I
what-
thought-
well,
I
and that's
thought-
just it. I mean, you're not talking huge sums of money and you're getting pretty good subsidy already. And again, I mean, I'm gonna be pretty well involved with a number of these too, so I'm not sure if it's something I should vote on either. Which probably creates a quorum issue tonight.
It does.
Well, I mean, to me, what is it? It's the impact on the county taxes, right? Like, what are we gonna bring in on the county taxes versus the value of having these properties upgraded and maintained and what they're gonna do going forward, right? Like, that's kind of the balance.
Mhm.
And it's already free money. So their side, they're trying to get their tax, they're trying to not pay sales tax on the part that the landowner is paying in now. Is that what we're saying?
And remember, it's 4% is the local share, 4% to the state. So we're talking about, really, we're talking about impact here, 4%.
That's it. And Eric, that's an interesting way to pose it. Right, how do you
What's the, you know,
determine, right? If they're still paying their match, will their match really go down? I didn't even think it that far along.
And so many of these they've been evolving.
Big time, and they're gonna continue to, as things go, which probably gonna complicate potentially. Again, you're not probably talking huge sums in the grand scheme of things, and I'm sympathetic to what people have to go through around here, because simple reality is without this subsidy, a lot of these projects won't happen, but you want to subsidize even further at the cost of county money.
Yeah, I don't think I'm for it. I'll be honest with you. I think you've already got a subsidy. So, I mean, if that's where I kind of am setting on it. It just seems like once we open this gate, it's going to be a lot to maintain and keep track of. And I don't know how much money, if it's worth it.
But are you saying that they can apply in a different way? You're trying to make the application process easier, or
There's no,
process today?
there's no process today for any of them to do that. And
It's part of, a pilot application. You get that
Right.
additional benefit.
and then the agency just does it at their
We
discretion
created a
when they
program
want to.
of just sales tax.
Another thing that also, I suppose, maybe a concern would be a few of these projects have completed already and couldn't access this, so that might bring to light some maybe unfairness, and I don't know about.
But it's just the IDA projects, right? It's not all.
That would be very problematic.
Would it?
Well, because the subsidy, in effect, is paid into cash register. You present your exemption.
Most
And
people
your
never had the
8% is not charged.
Right. And those people already lost the opportunity.
But I don't think you're gonna be able to go to the Department of Taxation and say, I
No,
paid, now I got.
Yeah,
No.
right, you
you
give me my
know.
reimbursement.
Right. So it's.
Usually that feeling.
Well, it probably could be done, but it's pain.
You know, I mean, the effort, presenting anything like this, it's different. We tried to do a program, or not a program, the county of Rome, unlike the county of Tioga, got in its head that they should not lose their sales tax. The state should, that'd be fine. So they put in a 4%.
Uh-huh.
You go to the cash register and say, you know, I'm buying $10,000 worth of lumber, but I only want to pay 4%. It
Oh,
just,
man, that's
I mean,
nice.
you, how would it work at your store?
Oh my God, the end of doing the sales tax report would be
But I mean,
pulling your
the
hair
person-
out.
But the person on the cash register say, you're either exempt or you aren't.
Right.
There's no half or,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, that's what happened. You just could not, the mechanics weren't there.
Yeah, no, when you're selling an item that's like propane or wood pellets or something like that, it's easy. You set the damn thing.
Right.
That's the percentage.
Hammered that.
I just lost $20,000.
Is there a motion being made?
no.
No.
We're moving on.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's
Aaron.
all. That is all I have for regular session.
Alec, yeah, you know, nobody's gonna cancel those
Okay.
projects. Nobody's gonna cancel the project based on.
No.
On cost, yes.